Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Create Astral Modpack. In the previous episode, we went ahead and got the integrated circuits all up and running and automated. We also started working our way towards getting a applied Energistics system up and running. I also showed off the new base here, and yeah, everything is up and running. You might notice that we have a few additional storage units here and there, and yeah, pretty much what I did in between episodes was to actually bring everything over, all of the machines that we had previously made, and yeah, set those up, and now they're all completely automated. So as you can see here, we have the andesite casings, copper casings, and brass casings. Those are all fully done and functioning, and you can see here, this is all the machines. I actually managed to get these pretty small, surprisingly, so yeah, we can actually fit quite a few of them in here. I also brought over some of the brass automation here, and we can take a look at that from this side over here. We have charcoal here that just powers the blaze burner that's down there, and I did actually make a mechanical arm, so yeah, that's a quest that I completed. And so yeah, you can pretty much see everything that goes on here. It is a little bit messy, but I tried to fit it in as small of a space as I could fit. So yeah, it's a little packed in, but I kind of like it because you can't even really tell from the front side that it's a mess. But yeah, back here we also have the redstone chips and the precision mechanisms. Those are up and running as well. I just need to go ahead and build a wall around it and yeah, get everything all set up there. I'm planning to have another hallway back here that's just full of machines. And back here is where I actually want all of my applied Energistics storage units and the power and everything that we're gonna need for that, which is something we're gonna be working on today. And one other minor change that I made was I actually brought the oxygen loader over here. And yeah, it's just going to be a little bit more convenient to have it in front of the moon portal. And I used some of these Nixie tubes to, to spell out moon. I didn't really have any reason to do it. I just thought that it looked cool. So, like I said, today we're going to be working on finally getting an applied Energistics system up and running, and I did actually manage to find the last of the presses that we need. So we needed the calculation press. I spent probably an hour or two on the moon just looking around for one and finally found one. Alright, so we can go ahead and take a look at the quest log here, and you can see that we're pretty much completely complete up to this point, the pastel pressing. So basically what we're going to need to do is make a logic circuit, an engineering circuit, as well as a calculation circuit. So I'm going to need to set the alternator up again, and for now I'm just going to place it there. This is all going to be pretty temporary. And I'll get my inscriber down there, and I'll just go ahead and connect these. So I'm going to start by making a few of these calculation circuits, which is just the calculation press as well as Certus quartz. So I can just throw them in something like that. And I do want to do, I'm going to start with 4. I'm probably going to need more, but this should at least help us get a start in the mod. And next is going to be the engineering circuits. And last up is going to be the logic circuits. And next up, it looks like we're going to have to craft Shimmer Dust, which if we take a look at the recipe, we just need to pour shimmer over some Certus quartz dust. And we already have Certus quartz dust, but if you need to make more, you can just throw a Certus quartz crystal into a millstone. And by the way, I did actually update the pack, which is why the oxygen meter and the map look a little bit different. It recommended that you update to a new profile, so I did that, and yeah, all of my settings are gone, so I'm probably going to have to make sure to actually update that. And by the way, I'm just here at the Shimmer Lake to collect some shimmer. I know that you can get it on the moon as well, but I don't have my my setup over on the moon yet, so we're going to have to deal with this for now. It works just as well, it's just a little bit further away. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and fill this entire thing up. I really don't know how much I'm gonna need, but yeah, this should do for now. And okay, I think I'm just gonna place the shimmer down here for now. Go ahead and throw the card assembler on there. And what we really need to do now is just put a faucet there as well as a casting table. And now hopefully this will work directly. It looks like it will. Cool. And yeah, that is pretty fast as well. All right, and that is these two quests done. By the way, I just poured a bucket of shimmer. I don't know why it requires more shimmer, even though we've already done that in the past. But anyway, so next up is going to be the processors. This is where we're going to combine the engineering circuits, the Shimmer Dust, as well as the printed silicon, and that'll actually make all of our different types of processors. And I'm going to need quite a few of these silicon presses anyway, so I'm just basically pressing like about a half a stack or so of silicon, and that should give us enough printed silicon to last quite a while. And now I'm just going to go ahead and combine this, maybe not, and that, maybe it'll go in after. There we go. That should make our engineering processor. Cool. Next we'll make the calculation processor. And finally the logic processor. Obviously we're going to need a lot more than that, but just for now, just to complete the quest, that's as far as we'll go on those for right now at least. So next up, what I want to do is actually craft a crafting terminal, which is going to require a calculation press, a crafting table, as well as a ME terminal. And in order to make the ME terminal, we just need a logic processor, an illuminated panel, a formation core, and an annihilation core. All right, and next what we're going to want to do is actually craft the ME controller. We could also make the energy acceptor, but I think that it's not as good as the controller. So if we go ahead and take a look at the recipe here, it looks like we're going to need more shimmer and an energy cell. And the energy cell is pretty simple. It's just some charged quartz dust, shimmer dust, and some more of the quartz glass. All right, and we can actually already craft that as well. So yeah, I'm just going to go back over here, and we will need a basin for this actually. All right, and now we can just go ahead and put that in and start pouring. All right, and there is the controller done now. And so now, next what I want to do is actually work on the drive. This is where we'll actually have the disks that'll actually store the items themselves. For the disk drives, though, we are going to need some glass cables, which is one of the next quests anyway, so we might as well craft them now. And yeah, they're pretty easy. The quartz fiber is probably the hardest part. It's just going to be glass and Certus quartz dust, though. And that completed all the way to the end. And there's the disk drive. So I'm actually going to set this up right here, and I will put the controller down and the drive to the left of it. And we'll just put a single cable on top. All of this is going to be temporary. I do want to have a little bit of a room back here to actually have some of these things a little more organized. But we can come back to the front now and grab our crafting terminal. And yeah, this is pretty much the system. Now, the only thing left is to actually make the discs themselves. So we'll probably start out with the 4K drives, which aren't going to be too bad. In order to make the 4K storage component, we will need 3 of the 1Ks. And in order to make the 1Ks, it's just Shimmer Dust, Certus quartz, as well as a logic processor. Alright, I'm back here on the moon, and I had to take a quick break from making progress to actually get some more of the Certus quartz, because I did run out pretty quickly. And one thing we can do to actually get more of the crystals, if you don't want to go back to the moon, is actually combine the dust with sand, and that'll actually make Certus quartz seeds. If you throw the seeds into water, after a short period of time, they'll actually turn into full-blown crystals. So I'm just going to throw those in there temporarily and hope that they grow up. All right, and I just went ahead and crafted up the last component of this. This is the calculation processor. And now if I go ahead and craft this up, we can actually make the 4K storage component. And if we go ahead and use that to craft the storage cell itself, we can go like that. And if we put it inside of our disk drive, there we go. Now Now we have our first bit of storage. Wait, why did that make a fluid one? And somehow that made a fluid one instead of the storage cell, which is a little bit confusing to me. I'm wondering if the recipes themselves are the same. Yeah, that's a little weird. Yeah, it looks like the recipes are exactly the same thing, so if you're doing this as well, if you're following along with me, make sure to craft the item cell housing instead of the fluid version, because the fluid version requires copper casings, whereas the other one doesn't. So yeah, that's a little bit, I guess that might be a problem with the newest update. Hopefully the Modpack authors are aware of this issue and are able to fix it. Alright, so I've just gone ahead and recrafted this, and now if I combine it with the item cell housing, hopefully it won't turn into the fluid one this time. Okay, there we go. Alright, so back on track now. We can go ahead and throw this inside of the drive. And now once we give the ME controller power, we'll actually be able to store a ton of items. So for now, I'm just going to borrow the power from the inscriber. And oops. And if we connect that up, that should start giving that power. Hopefully. Interesting. So as soon as I put the drive here, it actually stops working. So I'm wondering if we're going to need a faster way of transferring the power. Alright, so I think I came up with a pretty decent solution. Basically what I did was use a rotation speed controller to pretty much max out the alternator, and then I'm just using the insulated copper cables from Tech Reborn, and that is actually now generating enough that we don't need to worry anymore. We might even be able to get away with slowing this down just so that it's a little less stress on the system. And I'll try to slow it down as much as I can. And it seems to be keeping up pretty well actually at 32, so yeah, as we get more components though, we will probably have to speed this up, but yeah, I think it's good enough for now. So now if we go ahead and open up the terminal, you can see it is now functioning, and we can actually start to throw some of these items in here. And by the way, each drive is only capable of holding 63 types of items. So you'll probably want to get a lot of your larger items stored, like the like cobblestone, logs, that sort of thing first. Alternatively though, what we can do is actually use the storage buses, which are actually kind of simple to make. It's just going to require the ME interface, which is just a formation core and an annihilation core. And what that'll actually allow us to do is use, say, these crude storage units as a storage device. All right, so I've just spent a little bit of time actually decorating and figuring out how this room is going to look and work as well. So over here on the right, we have all of our crude storage units, and these will be where we actually store all of our bulk items. For example, we have cobblestone in this first one, and we actually have a storage bus hooked up on the back. So now if we go ahead and open up the storage interface, you can see that the cobblestone is actually here. And if we pull it out, there we go, it pulls it out of there. And if we insert it, it should go back in there, although I did set the priority and it is a little bit weird. And I think what I actually want to do is go negative on the priority instead. If we do insertion, the highest priority goes first, but if we do extraction, the lowest priority goes first. Yeah, I don't really know if there's a different way to solve this. Hopefully those all go in there, and yeah, none of them do. All right, I think I fixed it. I just set the priority to 1. And it seems to be inserting and extracting as well. I also forgot to configure the input, so maybe that was affecting it as well. So anyway, on the left side is where we're going to have all of our drives and stuff. So we'll have more of the drives and storage cells over on this side, and those will just be to store all of our general items. And obviously here in the center is where we have the controller hooked up with some insulated copper cables, and those are just running over to the rotation speed controller. I also put the inscriber here. This is temporary, just for now, just yeah, as I'm still working on everything. And by the way, we're probably going to be using the basic storage units instead of the crude ones, because the basic ones can actually store 8,000 items, whereas the crude ones can only store 2,000. So yeah, that'll be a pretty big upgrade. It is a little bit costly, but yeah, it's still something that's pretty achievable for us. So I think I'm going to spend a little bit of time actually moving all of the items over to the new system, as well as finishing decorating the room, and yeah, getting everything for this system pretty much finished. Alright, so I've spent about the last hour or so actually cleaning up all of these chests, and now I have all of the items in the applied Energistics system. So if we open it up, we can see all of our items, and a lot of the bulk items are over here in the crude storage units. I haven't had a chance to actually upgrade them all into basic storage units yet, but I think I'll be working on that as time goes on. I also haven't had a chance to hook them all up. I just have 2 storage buses, so yeah, I'm still working on that, but at least now we have all of our items here in one place, and it'll be so much easier to actually work with a lot of these items. And if we go ahead and take a look at the quest log, you can see that there's quite a few things that we can still do with applied Energistics, but I think that's pretty good for now, at least. We have more than enough room for all of the items we have currently, and we can always upgrade and add more item storage cells here. But I think that's all the time we're going to have for today's episode. In the next episode, I think I'm going to go ahead and make an auto crafter. And the auto crafter will actually allow us to build the NASA workbench, which will eventually allow us to make the rocket ship. And that will actually bring us over to Mars. There's still quite a few steps that we need to do before we can actually go to Mars though, so we'll probably not get to it in the next episode, but yeah, we're definitely on our way there. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you next time. Peace.